All right, here we go again. This time we're talking about slides. Let's go up to your drive, and then you're going to go to New, and we're going to go to Google Slides, and we're going to throw this thing right in there. All right, I've already made my slide, so I'm going to go up here and click on it. And again, at the top, you're going to want to name it Assignment 6. That way we know which assignment we're on, and I can keep track of what you're working on. We never want to leave anything unnamed. The next thing we're going to talk about, pretty straightforward through the rest of this. It's very comparable to PowerPoint. So I'm going to highlight some tools and go through a few things here, and we'll go back and forth. I'm going to expand this so you can see it a little better. The first thing I'm going to look at are themes. I'm going to select the focus theme today. I think that looks kind of nice. With the focus theme selected, I'm now going to manipulate the slide. I want to name it something relative to the class I'm teaching, so I'm going to call it business law, and we've been talking about class action lawsuits, so I'm going to assume that it's chapter 1, and I'm going to call it class action lawsuits. All right, now I saw something pop up here and I wanted to demonstrate this to you guys. If this happens to you, there's this explore feature up here, and if you click on it, it's going to give you a few options to choose from regarding slide layout and slide styles. And it's exploring right now, looking at different ways to identify. Ooh, I kind of like that. I'm going to switch. I'm going to this. So if I click that, it'll change what my look looks like. And there we go. I'm ready to start. As far as layouts and everything else is concerned, we can do more of this in a couple options up here. So I'm going to close this window for now. You can always go back to it. And I'm going to close the themes as well because I want to see the full thing here. I want to manipulate the thing a little better. So that was looking at some of your design features. The next thing we're going to look at, we've added some text here. You can manipulate the text if you want to. Like let's say this is, you want this expanded out further, it's not long enough. You can clearly drag the box here. And this is your general text box in presentation or slides. So you can always insert more if you want. From the insert, there's the text box. You can also insert image, a chart, links, video, word art, and so forth. And we'll talk about a few of those as we go through the presentation today. So before we get started, or before we continue to go, I really want you to consider what the purpose of your slides would be. I want you to know my point of view is I always make interactive slides. So when I make my next few sets of slides, it's going to require my students to do something with the slide because I have them make a copy of the slide, and we, as I talk about the subject matter and the topics, I have them go find stuff and plug it in, or I dictate to them what I'd like them to include in there. And sometimes I allow them to put their own input in there as well. So it's more interactive and engaging than me just reading on a board and them typing it out. I like to make them search and look and go do some fun things, and that's what makes this a lot of fun. So let's insert a slide. Um, the simple way is to hit the plus button and that'll add your next slide. And it's automatically got a format behind it. If you wanted to change that, here's your options. There's the background feature. Um, you can go color, and then there's all kinds of other colors you can do. You could do a gradient if you will. Really, it's up to you. I would like you to, if you haven't set a theme already, change your background at least. I'm going to choose that gradient because it looks kind of fun. And I'm going to hit done. You could add it to the entire theme. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it to this slide. And so it made the background a little darker, not much. You really can't tell because I already had a theme put on. There's also a layout options. So maybe you want 2 windows instead of 1. You could select that. Some other layouts are located on here. I like the two-pronged approach because you can do a couple things and it splits up your information, makes it a little easier to follow and read. So that's the layout option. Let me click out of here real quick. You can go back to themes to change your theme, and then there's also a place where you can add transitions to your slide. And you can also select an object to animate as well if you wanted one of these pieces of information or your words to come into play. So let's do a transition here. I'm going to do slide from the right, and we'll make, yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's play it, see what it looks like. And then it's going to slide in there. There you go. And so you can do that with all these things. I'm going to hit stop, and I'll leave that as it is. And if you want to add an animation, like let's say we selected this text and we're going to add animation, then you can add that in as well. Then you can do it by paragraph if you want the whole paragraph. There's a fade in option. If you don't want fade in, there's a bunch of them, bunch of things to look at. Also, you can do it on click or you can do it after previous or with previous. Very similar to PowerPoint if you've done that before. Okay, and I would encourage you to at least put 1 or 2 transitions to show me that you know how to put a transition in. I'm not looking for a great amount. Obviously, you can take this further when you go to present it to your students. A lot of times I leave transitions out because I want them to add them in. I want them to add the effect. So really, the point of me showing you this is so you can show your students in case they don't know, so they can add it into their notes, and it just adds that little extra element to notes. And you know when they can be doing this? They can be adding these transitions in while you're taking a moment to help somebody on the side. So, because I know there's always times where you have to give that individual help. Okay, let's talk about inserting. Um, a few of the things on here that you've seen to insert are charts, text box, images, and links, and videos, and so forth and so on down the line. I'm going to hit a couple of them. Charts, I'm not really going to hit because we already talked about it in Excel, and it works the same way. You can go to chart and you can select it, and you can even bring it in from Sheets if you want to. It's connected just like it was connected to Word and everything else. Images the same way, so I'm not going to talk about images again. I would like you to include an image and a chart in here to show me you know how to do it. The first thing I'm going to talk about is a video. So I want to insert a video here. And one of the great things about this is that you can search through YouTube for a video to plug in here. And I actually have my students do this from time to time so they can include some information. Now when you do that, you have to make sure that the video is legit. So I'm going to do a little search here. I'm going to pause the video, search one out, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I searched out class action lawsuit and I found this how to file a class action lawsuit. I'm going to select that to plug it into my presentation, and it's going to show up right here in the middle. What you'll realize is that you really don't need the stuff in the background, so you can delete these frames if you don't need them, and then you can have your title at the top, and you can move this around. You can move that around so you can put your title at the top and video example, and you can move on. One of the things I highly recommend is, in all cases, is you watch the video before it happens, and I need to decrease the window here. And one of the things that you need to be aware of is that this video is not going to play in this view. You have to be in the presentations view to see it from how it's going to look in your presentation. Okay, so be aware of that. A couple other things about videos: make sure when your kids are doing it, they give credit to the source. You might have a last title slide where they have to paste the link so you know where they got it from. That's also, it just helps you make sure it's legit. Okay, and make sure it's an okay file format. Along with videos, let's go to some more things to insert. I'm going to add a slide. And we've talked about links as well and inserting links. Clearly you can go here and insert a link, but it doesn't work right away. The easiest way for me to insert a link is just to type the link out. Go copy and paste it from somewhere else or type it out, and that's one of the best ways to do it. So maybe I want to put www.findlaw.com, and I want to give my students this resource, and again you can change it and just call it Find Law so it looks a little more nice and neat. And then you can give them a prompt, go click on this link and add some information, maybe something real specific that they could throw in here to make it more their notes and not just some redundant stagnant thing that you just talked about. Okay. Another thing we talked about inserting in here, there's word art, lines, shapes. You can obviously do more slides, which we've already done, but the line, the shapes, they're all little tools on the bar here. You can fill the color. I mean, they're just fancy little features here. They're not, you don't have to have them, but it helps if you want to do something quick like that. And then you still have fonts too. I'll do the cherry cream soda. I guess I need my text selected. So there's all those simple things that go along with almost all applications you've ever used. One of the other things that I want to talk about is Edit Master. And utilizing Edit Master is another great way to break it down. It's kind of like that outline style like you would see in PowerPoint. So you're going to find the Edit Master by going up here to Slide and clicking on Edit Master. And in here you can rearrange and move and shift things, and you can drop levels. See how it shows the levels of information if you were going to type it in. And some people kind of like that style. I use it from time to time, especially if I have lists of information, but most of the time I'm just typing on the front side of it all. So if you don't want to be in Edit Master, there's an X over here. You can X out of it and you're right back to your normal style. So that's Edit Master. As I'm looking through the list of the things that I would like you to do, please make sure you insert one of each of these things just to show me you have an understanding of it. If you want to make it as specific as possible to your lesson, that's great. The more specific you make it to your lesson and what you want your students to do, the better this is going to be, because it's something then you can actually use in your classroom. There's one last thing that I want you to, or two last things, I'm sorry, that I want you to do. One is bringing in slides from maybe a PowerPoint presentation. So if we wanted to add a slide and we wanted to bring it in from another, in your inserts, there's import slides, and you can actually upload slides, and you can go select from your computer here, find your PowerPoint, and pull them in from there. I'm going to pause while this loads. Okay, so I've imported these slides. They came over from, they're a personal finance, so ignore that please. And I could pick and choose the different slides that I want to import, and I can even keep the original theme if I want to, and then I can import those slides. They usually come over pretty close to what they were in PowerPoint. You can do the whole thing if you want to as well. That's totally up to you, but I just wanted to show you that feature. You do not have to import slides. I just wanted to show you this feature so you could have it available. If you already had some, maybe you wouldn't even have to remake any. You could just import them and do it this way. Okay? All right, the other thing, when you go to File, you can download as, and you can download it as a PowerPoint. You can download it as a PDF, all of these things. So if you have to flip-flop back and forth, maybe someone prefers PowerPoint over Google Slides, you can do that. Now, just like Word, the translation is a little different, and you'll have to upload it like you did the Word document back to your drive if you want to share it easily. But it is possible, and I just wanted to make you aware of that as well. Do you need to download this version into a PowerPoint? No, I just wanted to show you that too. That's just for your reference because you've already done it once. You should have done it in Word. Okay. The last thing is sharing the link. Please make sure when you finish making your sets of slides and identifying that you can do these things, that you are able to share your link, and it goes the same way as it did with the other two items. You just go to share and you get shareable link, copy the link, and then take that link back over to that weapon of mass education that we're creating that already has a document and a spreadsheet in it or Google Sheets in it. You're now going to add the presentation to it, or the Google Slides to it, and we'll keep going from there. All right, thank you for your time. The last item on our agenda is forms. That'll be next.